For several months, clashes along the front lines of the Russia-Ukraine war have intensified, notably in the Donetsk region. That's a territory Russia last year tried to claim it had annexed. The Ukrainian army is trying to hold the defensive line before launching an expected counterattack. The town of Vuhledar has seen fierce tank battles with Ukrainian troops in the city, preventing advances by the Russian military.
The front lines near Vuhledar. Here in the southern Donbass region, the Ukrainian army has been battering Russia's forces. But now Ukraine could try to break through with a major offensive. Trucks bring a steady stream of military equipment to the front. Artillery wars like this are usually won by the side with better supply lines. The Ukrainians are firing now. They can match Russia's firepower, thanks to increased weapons deliveries from the West.
I've been here for a year now. The Russians had been shooting at us all the time, and we had little to counter them with. But recently the situation has changed. Now, thanks to Western support, the tables have turned.
This mother still lives here with her daughter, despite the fighting. They didn't follow the calls to evacuate. She doesn't want to explain why. For the Ukrainian military, civilians on the front lines are a burden.
I understand that it's hard to start a new life. You need money and resources, but anything is better than being killed, and these people are in our way. We can't fight at full strength. We can't position our artillery next to their houses because there will be return fire. It would be much easier if they weren't here.
Soldiers use abandoned houses as shelter, often in tight quarters with just a kitchen, a bathroom, and space for a handful of fighters. They spread out their ammunition stores, so if one gets hit, it won't destroy the entire stockpile.
All of us here got used to explosions. Everything flying over your head. If you're resting and hear that it's far away, you can keep resting.
The soldiers have been fighting hard for weeks for the strategically important Vuhledar. Soon the time might come for them to mount a major offensive.
Let's cross over now to military expert and defense analyst Mike Martin in London. Good to have you on the program. Mike, this town Vuhledar that we've just seen in the report, what strategic significance does it hold?
I think we need to be careful about overusing the word strategic. Every single town in Ukraine at one point or another has been called strategic. However, Vuhledar is in the far southeast of the lines. It's where the front lines run north up into Donbass and west across to Crimea. And so it's a hinge, if you like. And it's also a meeting point of several road and rail junctions, which both sides need to be able to move all the logistics that are so essential in modern war.
Mike, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that he wants to wait before launching that anticipated offensive. What is your assessment of the factors that are influencing his decision-making process?
I think we have to take a pinch of salt anything that Zelensky or any other Ukrainian officials say. For the last month, they have been conducting what are called shaping operations, including information shaping operations, and they're designed to get the Russians to worry about whether the attack's going to fall here or there, or whether it's going to fall next week or next month, or it's even already started yesterday. So when Zelensky says things like that, the intended target audience is the Russian military leadership, and it's entirely designed to deceive and confuse their thinking.
Just on the point about information that we're getting from both sides here, what do you make of the conflicting reports, both by Russian and Ukrainian forces, regarding the battle that's currently being waged in Bakhmut?
So, I mean, as your viewers know, the Russians have been trying to take Bakhmut from the Ukrainians over the last 6 months. They've had very small successes at the cost of great numbers of troops. Over the last 3 days, however, we've heard reports of the Ukrainians making 3 square kilometers of gains, both to the north and to the south of Bakhmut. And if they're able to keep doing that, i.e. if they're successful, they'll be able to encircle the Russian forces that are themselves encircling the Ukrainian defenders of the city. And this is a classic military maneuver known as a double envelopment.
Britain's now said that it's going to be supplying long-range cruise missiles to Ukraine. Is this a game changer?
Again, as with the use of the word strategic, we should be careful about the use of the word game changer. Every weapon system is cited as a game changer. So the Storm Shadows have a range of 250 kilometers. And what that means is that effectively Ukraine can hit any target, any Russian target within the sovereign territory of Ukraine. And so obviously that's huge. There will be a limited number of those missiles that have been given across. But off the top of my head, I can think of several key targets, including the Kerch Bridge, which links Crimea to Russia. And that's obviously a key potential target in the upcoming months with the Ukrainian counteroffensive.
The head of the Wagner Group, Yevgeny Prigozhin, he's been very critical of the Russian defense establishment and what he says is their alleged failure to provide sufficient support. How do you see this tension playing out?
I mean, it's always been there right from the very beginning. It's extraordinary if you think about it. Can you imagine if in the German or the British military, one of the divisional commanders was complaining about the fact he wasn't getting enough supplies? But it exposes really the tensions that are deep within the Russian military effort. It's not just Wagner that Prigozhin is the head of. It's also the Chechens, apparently they're now turning up in Bakhmut, and different factions within the Russian military. Look, one of the principles of fighting a war successfully is unity of effort. Your team must be unified behind what you're trying to achieve. Clearly, the Russians aren't unified behind that. There's disagreement about what they're trying to achieve. And so, that can only impact negatively on the Russians' ability to fight this war successfully.
Mike Martin, a military expert and defense analyst, talking to us from London. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate your analyst insight.
Thank you.